For number 2, this one, our functions aren't solved for y, and we'll get that sometimes. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and solve these for y. Y equals 6 minus x squared. And over here, y equals negative 2x plus 3. So these are 2 graphs we can graph by hand also. So let's do that. Just a sketch, doesn't have to be perfect. But our purple graph here, y equals 6 minus x squared, what shape is that? Parabola. Negative in front means it's opening down, right? And the 6 means it's moving up 6. So we're going to have a graph like this, right? So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's our vertex up there. And then for our pink graph, y equals negative 2x plus 3. So we're going to have a y-intercept of 3. Slope is negative 2, so down 2 over 1. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just getting a general idea of what this is going to look like. So we need to look at this region. Figure out what region are we trying to find the area of what's closed off by these graphs. So it's right here. That's closed off by the 2 graphs. In that region, which of the 2 graphs is our top function? Parabola, right? This is going to be our top function. And the line is going to be our bottom function. So we set up a definite integral. We're going to do top minus bottom, so 6 minus x squared minus this whole thing. So we need to put this in parentheses. The negative 2x plus 3, that has to go in parentheses. So in a little bit I would go ahead and change this, like distribute this minus, but we won't do that just yet. Let's go ahead and figure out what a and b are. So again, once we have these solved for y, to figure out what a and b are, we can just take this and set it equal to this, right? They're both y equals, so we're replacing, basically using substitution, substituting the 6 minus x squared in for y. So 6 minus x squared equals negative 2x plus 3. So I'm going to move everything to the right side here. We get x squared minus 2x minus 3. And we can factor that to x minus 3 times x plus 1. So we get x equals 3, x equals negative 1. So our a is going to be negative 1. Our b is going to be 3. Now, before I go ahead and put this in my calculator, I would go ahead and, like I said, distribute that minus, just so fewer parentheses, the better, when setting these up and putting them in our calculator. So if we're subtracting these, this becomes a plus 2x, this becomes a minus 3, so the 6 minus 3, that's going to give us 3, minus x squared plus 2x, and if you wanted to reorder that, we could, it's not a big deal. But now I would go ahead and evaluate that. Again, we could do it by hand. Not a tough one to do by hand, but let's just get practice with the calculator. So math 9, 3 minus x squared plus 2x, comma x, comma negative 1, comma 3. So we get 10.6 repeating. This one we can actually get an exact answer. We get 32 thirds.